Wagner's body to inspire the Wolverines. It worked. Michigan advanced to tonight's NCAA championship game against Villanova. TB12 also had FaceTime the head coach for Michigan. Now Villanova, since they're from the Philadelphia area, need to FaceTime with Kyle Brandt to give them a rant to fire them up today.
I'd be happy to do that. You know what I was really, what was so social media it hurt over the weekend? So Loyola loses, and everybody is jumping on Sister Jean for leaving the game early.
Did she leave early?
Yeah, she got the Mark Wahlberg thing, and then it turned out she didn't leave. She just left, and then there was a million crying Jordans and Sister Jean. So hell of a run for there. But
Jordans on Sister Jean.
Oh, with glasses and wigs and everything.
What's the world come to? Great stuff, Will Silva. Back here in studio, you're talking about Tom Brady. Let's talk about his tight end up there in New England right now, Rob Gronkowski. I mentioned this. We had these dream scenarios last week, ending the week. Like, what do we want? The storylines that are on the back pages to just stop. And I said, I'm going to stop one before it starts. And my headline was, Gronk stays pat, stays put, stays up there in New England. Because when I heard that he got that role in the movie, what is it, Boss Level?
Is that what it's called?
With
the
Mel Gibson movie? Yes. I was like, this is going to start right now because he's not being 100% committed. Right now. It is that he's not going to go back to New England. He was asked about it. He used the words pretty certain that he will be back in New England as long as Tom Brady stays there as the quarterback, which we know is going to happen this year. What do you guys think about this?
Listen.
Non-story?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a non-story until the organization starts talking about moving on from Gronk. Now, I get why he's doing it, though, because he's lived and relived and he's seen friends go. You mentioned the tweet that he sent off with Danny Amendola saying, go, be free.
Be free, be happy.
Be free, be happy. And on top of that, you've seen players like absolute legends, which what we consider Gronk right now, get basically kicked out on their last leg. And they usually do it, the way the Patriots do it, they do it like a year or two before your time really expires. So everybody's like, what? I can't believe they let Will Fork go. I can't believe Troy Brown's not a Patriot. But it happens. And he is maybe thinking, okay, with injuries, with Tom Brady aging, with Josh McDaniels almost leaving this year, Patricia gone, maybe I should start throwing it out there. So if I do want to flip the switch and pull the plug, people won't be so shocked. But like KB said, when you start talking about it is when you start thinking about it. And when you start thinking about it, that's when you want to put it into action.
What if it's not retirement? What if he wants to just get out of New England and go somewhere else?
That's a good question.
Which leads to a great conversation. If Odell Beckham was on the trade market and they were talking and they would fetch 2 first-round picks, what does Rob Gronkowski get on the open market? I'm actually really curious because he's had the injuries, he's in the latter half of his career, and yet that Super Bowl against the Eagles, he was unstoppable. Yeah. And in the playoffs, he was unstoppable. And against the Steelers regular season.
Go get him, McVay.
So if you're Sean McVay, if you're Kyle Shanahan, if you're one of these teams that is in this win, the Chiefs, I don't know how they would make it work in their salary cap, what would it cost to get Rob Gronkowski? Because if Odell, with the headache of off the field and whatever else negative you want to say about Odell, is still probably the best receiver, one of them, top 5. Yeah. If he's 2 first-round picks, what is the asking price for Rob Gronkowski? And if you're the Patriots, do you listen?
And if you're Gronkowski, do you really want that? I mean, do you want to leave New England? I don't want it to happen. I would hate to see Gronk do anything that he regrets. And I think it's easy to sit there inside New England and be like, other teams look like they have so much more fun. And if you're a guy like Gronk, okay, so you leave New England, and now you get to go on more talk shows and have wackier press conferences, and that's great. But you don't get to be in the Super Bowl every year. You don't get to play with Tom Brady. I think it's very much the grass is greener, and it is not. However, if he decides he wanted to do that, or the Pats wanted to do it, I don't know if there's a better player pound for pound at any position than when Gronk is right. I think he might be the best pound for pound player in all of football. So, yeah, I mean, it's a massive, massive asking price for him because I think he still have it.
You said you think he's the best pound for pound player. Do you still consider players pound for pound the best at their position when that pound for pound is breaking down?
It's an asterisk.
Like, would you say that about Andrew Luck? Would you say that about...
Yeah, but Gronk had...
J.J. Watt. Would you say that about Gronk?
Played amazing.
He did. No, he played unbelievable.
I don't think he's breaking down.
I feel like...
He's had injuries, but he recovered.
I do think that there's something to Nate saying when a player's thinking about hanging it up, he's already halfway. Like there's when that mentality starts creeping in, you don't hear that often. You're in love with the game, and it's your dream to walk away from it yourself. Most players don't get to do that. So I know for a fact, just knowing you, that you probably don't like even just hearing that out there.
And on top of that, the Gronk is not a finesse tight end. Gronk is a monster with the ball in his hands. So it's almost like you got to save guys from themselves, and players look in the mirror and say, I have to save myself from myself, because even if I do go out there and I'm healthy or at 90%, 80%, I'm still going to try to stiff arm guys with my braced arm. I'm still going to try to run guys over when I know I have a tore hamstring. Like, he's that guy.
You said yourself, the Patriots have a history of pulling the lever early.
Sure.
How fun did Chris Long and LeGarrette Blount have as Eagles, still getting a ring? They won one with it.
Good point.
They could beat themselves, and they got, like, The Patriots are going to get ready at some point. So if Gronk wants to get ahead of that and maybe win one, I mean,
good point.
It's not a given that the Patriots win
But
every
it's
year.
not Gronk's choice, right? If
under
he would
contract, of
retire,
course
but
not,
so to play somewhere else, he'd have to be traded.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, I mean, Bill Belichick can't love having somebody say that they're not 100% committed to what they're doing right there up in New England.
So be careful what you ask for, like KB's saying, right?
I hate the idea of chasing fun when you're with the New England Patriots. I say it every year. The duck boats look really, really fun, and they crank them up pretty much every January, every February.
And he yells, "No days off, I'm up there."
Yeah.
Gronk's been to the Kentucky Derby in recent years. Rob Gronkowski. This year there's an actual horse named Gronkowski. So Gronk's not going to be chugging mint juleps on Millionaires Row. Oh, no, 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 no. As a competitor thoroughbred horse, the name's Gronkowski. It is a Pats fan owns the horse, named him after him. So it got me thinking, is there a name of a famous horse in history that would be like a good nickname for a current NFLer?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Peter. You're the equine enthusiast.
I love Thunder Gulch. I love Cigar.
Man of War.
Man of War. I go to 2014. This horse won the Kentucky Derby, won the Preakness. Great name. California Chrome, and I look at friend of the show, Sean McVay, as California Chrome. Look at that chrome hair, more pomade than a.
That's a gel mitt, they call that.
That's a gel mitt.
Gel mitt to gel mitt contact.
The local, what's it called?
The sports place.
Yeah, when Sports Clips has less pomade than Sean McVay does in that.
Nailed it, Peter.
I was waiting for it. I know.
I dig.
Vidal Sassoon's going to come after me.
Look out! Look out!
Sports Clips.
So it's McVay's California Chrome.
Yeah, he's got the chrome hair.
I got it.
I get it, the chrome hair.
Lives
I
in
like
California.
What do you got?
That was nice.
What about you, Burleson?
Is it me?
I don't know.
Okay, Kay, you're
I
up.
don't know.
Go get it, Kay.
Who knows? All right.
Who knows?
I got to thinking about an interesting storyline that I feel like we haven't talked about enough at this table, and is what's going to happen with Nick Foles. Yes, there's going to be a run for quarterbacks in the draft in Dallas, but then maybe sometime in training camp, somebody tries to make a trade for Foles. So I liken him to the 2009 Kentucky Derby winner, Mind That Bird. Because who's that? Whose bird is that? Is that we're going to stay in Philadelphia, where he is a legend? He probably feels pretty comfortable being the backup to Carson Wentz there. Or is another team going to see him as a Super Bowl MVP that could change the game and serve as a good backup or starter? Who knows for them? So I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but mind that bird.
I like it.
That's a fantastic call. And the Nick Foles trade thing will never go away. I truly don't think for the whole season will never. I don't think so, because the phone always works. And if some team says screw it around the draft and says we want to get Nick Foles, and they have a huge asking price, it would not shock me.
I don't know. Carson Wentz coming off knee surgery. It would not be a good idea to get rid of him.
Yeah, all right. Well, I wanted to go with something that's familiar to me, which is Seattle Slew, because I just love the name and, of course, being from Seattle. But I wanted to go a different route. And I was thinking about 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and how can I work him in somehow. And it got me thinking about one of the best of all time. And just wait on the nickname, is Seabiscuit. And I was looking up quotes. They say a racehorse is the only animal that can take several thousand people for a ride at the same time. I'm not going to make a joke about who wants to ride Jimmy, but I'll make a joke about the people that are following him. We're talking about the fans. We're talking about millions, not just thousands in the stadium, 60,000 people. But now all of a sudden, the millions of people that were on the fence of the 49ers, now all of a sudden they're on for this ride. And in the movie for Seabiscuit, they said everybody thinks we found a broken down horse and fixed him, but we didn't. He fixed us. And that's Jimmy Garoppolo for the 49ers. And the nickname I gave him is G-Biscuit. So instead of Seabiscuit, it's G-Biscuit, man.
I love G. I picture him on a white horse coming to the tower to rescue me. All right. I'm going to go. Odell Beckham Jr. is last year's Derby champ. Always dreaming. Because, by the way, you know what they say about always dreaming? Ton of energy.
Yeah.
Can't even get into the gate, so much energy. They did an unprecedented thing during Derby week. They changed his practice rider. It was like changing a coach Derby week, because the trainer said, we need to get the horse under control. We need to get him settled down a little bit. Then the practice rider gets on and says, it's kind of in the way they move with this horse. His personality. Some days you just can't tell, but when he's right, he's right. That is Odell, always dreaming, and we are dreaming of a big season for Odell right here in New York City, my friends.
Yes.
Always dreaming. The 2017 champ.
Great show. Great start to the week, gentlemen. We'll be here with you guys tomorrow. We'll talk more about the draft, of course, some prospects, and some free agency stuff, and maybe, hopefully not Gronk.
Yeah.
Let's end this. Gronk,
It's all season.
Come on, Gronk.
It's all season we're talking about.
All right, we will be back after this to kick off another re-air.
Let's do it, baby.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Good Morning Football. Bye. And Kyle, this one's for you, buddy.
What's for me?
This one right here.
Take us out, KB. Oh, yeah.
Hit the chair.
Rico, suave. That's you, Gerardo.
Is that where you were watching in your